Good afternoon. In this last year, we have seen that Canada's side has played with great figures that are playing in European football. We are aware of their quality, and the prestige or respect that they win and earn doesn't depend on us, but on their performance in this tournament. We know that Copa America is an important tournament for every national team. So I think it's on them to know how to earn their place in this continent. Good afternoon, Marco Escobar from DA Sports. We're here for Puede Pasar. Sergio, the first question goes to you. Well, Ricardo Gareca was suspended. So this is why you're here. When did the national team learn about that? Because I understand that you got to the stadium. What is your take on the suspension? And for the player, this is a very important match. It's a must-win match for the knockouts. What is also your impression on the suspension of your coach for the next match? Well, Ricardo was on his way to the press conference, and we got an official notice from CONMEBOL of this suspension regarding the match. So he went back to the hotel, and we have to resolve this situation. That is why we're here. Well, regarding the match, we know the challenge we're taking on. It is the most important game because it's the next one, and it will depend on us to move to the next round. We understand the responsibility we are undertaking. We have worked for this. We understand it is an important opportunity to achieve our proposed outcome as a squad, and we were caught off guard with this suspension of the coach. And it hit us hard. We know that there are rules. These things can happen. We are not making the decisions. It is beyond us, and we have to concentrate on Canada and on the relevance of this match. So without dwelling on what just happened with the coach, we are really focused on Canada. We are going to give it our all, and we are still with the same hopes as on day one. We want to achieve our goal, and for that purpose, we need to win against Canada. Sergio Víctor José María del Pino for Tele3 en vivo in Chile, going live. Sergio, about this process, is there a chance? Well, there is a chance, we hope that isn't the case, for Chile to exit early. And there was an optimism going around given the friend list. But I want to ask you, will that be a disillusion football-wise? And how can it affect an eventual qualification to the World Cup? Victor, what is Alexis Sanchez's role on the pitch and outside of the pitch? What is the difference when you have Alexis on the pitch teaming up with you and when he isn't? And what is the expectation on the potential creation of opportunities together tomorrow? Well, what you just mentioned is one of the options. Maybe you are sure of that outcome when you perform your analysis, but we believe and have faith in the other option, that is advancing to the next round and winning our next match. We have been in situations similar to these, and we are sure, based on recent results, on our performance, our growth, the personality of the players and of the team, their identity, and the traits that make up a group. So we believe in the alternative that is different to your option. So we think and we believe in the possibility of getting to the knockouts and going all the way to the final. It could be a great reality. So allow us to feel this way, and based on what we have and what we deliver, we think there's a great possibility and we believe in it. Regarding Alexis, we are all aware of the quality he has as a player. We can speculate on more tight or loose style when he is on the pitch or when he isn't on the pitch. But as an individual, we know what he contributes, given his quality as a player and his experience, given his track record. And we know that many a time it isn't your day. There are no doubts about it. It's part of the work, it's part of football. You can have a good day or a bad day, but we have no doubts on Alexis' performance. On the pitch, he's of the essence. He is a player that transmits so much and he contributes so much. The decision on him being on the pitch or not doesn't depend on us. We trust blindly the process, the technical or the coaching staff is carrying out, and we are at their ability and they will make the decisions. The decisions they feel best for the team, but we have no doubts as to the quality of Alexis as a player, and we all know of the joy he has brought to the national team. Caio Bustil from Chilevisión and Paramount. Sergio, how are you taking on this unexpected challenge given the suspension? And Gareca, is he allowed to be in the stadium? Does he have to stay at the hotel? What is the situation, going in detail to the notice of Conmebol? And how do you take this challenge? And Victor, we see that Canada has very fast transitions. If you run against Peru and against Argentina, will you be running now? Will you try to contribute to the opportunities to reach the box? Because Canadians are really fast players. They're missiles in the forwards. And to put it clearly, we will abide by the instructions of Conmebol and of other agencies of control, of enforcement. In this country, there are many, and we accept their instructions. But we can have opinions about it. But the federation, the coaching staff, and players, everyone in this national team are part of the organization and are engaged in a way in this organization of the tournament. So I'm sure that we will resolve this situation. We will address it properly. And I wanted to say that, as Victor mentioned, Canada is a team that is not only a team now, it has a history, it has a past performance, and we are aware of it. We don't think that other teams are lesser rivals or that we are superior. It is a very important match against a top notch team. And have was this the answer you were expecting? I wanted to know what would happen with Gareca. Okay. Uh, our administrative office could give you a more detailed answer. He cannot be in the locker room, he cannot be on the field, he has to be on the grades, on the at the stadium. That is the information that we have. He can be at the box on the field. Well, regarding the forwards of Canada and its physical condition, we understand it is a very strong team. And we know that it is a strength of Canada, their physical condition, and it's going to be a tiring match in that regard. But we also have a say, and we will bring our own game plan against Canada. I think it's going to be a very important match, and the details will be of the essence during the match. They have very fast players, but we have very smart players as well, and players that have engaged in similar matches, and we are well aware of the responsibility we undertake in this match to move on to the next round. And both teams are in a similar situation, so it's going to be a great duel. We will try to set the tone at all times. We know we have that goal to move on to the knockouts, but it won't only depend on what Canada does. We also will be there performing in this match. Sergio, Víctor, Bio Bio for the entire country. Sergio, it is known that Ricardo is a man of clear goals, of confidence, and that he trusts what he's doing with a great focus on classifying to the World Cup. Are you looking for alternatives in the forwards? Because we have not scored a goal yet. Are you thinking about options for replacements, maybe not in the last minute? And Victor, what are you working on the most? On the mobility, on having more leeway to break away? How are you going to try to generate danger clinically? We have a group that is aware of the options. They can be options as starters or as subs. Of course, we have to make decisions as to the next lineup. You mentioned that we didn't score, but if you analyze goal opportunities and the attack, the courage of the team, their eagerness to win. And after the performance against another opponent, you also have to take into account the defense of the opponent. But we have the objective of creating opportunities, and we are in a condition to achieve it. We have players that are capable of doing that. There are names, of course, but we have to focus on the results and on how the group is preparing for it. Well, when it comes to the lineup and final decisions, you will understand that there are details that we have to take into consideration: injuries, wear down. But I can assure that the entire roster is in a condition to play as a starter or to sub in. And they have shown this. They have proven this already. I think we have great potential for the attack. Even though in these last two matches in the tournament, we haven't found the net. We keep working. We are getting ready, and we're looking for the ways to be more efficient, more decisive in our finishings. And it is a tough question to answer, because I cannot say that we're not preparing for finishing our scoring opportunities, but we prepare and we work for that, and we have what it takes. We have shown that in the friendlies. We have scored plenty, and even though in these last two matches we haven't scored, we are convinced that we will change that streak, and we have the quality of players to achieve that. We know that it is a must win to move on to the next round, and that is what we are after. Good afternoon, Sergio. Two questions. Easy one first. What is Claudio Bravo's condition? There's some speculation regarding level of discomfort, but we saw him really well on Saturday. And there is another objective, that is qualifying to the World Cup. How do you think that this match could change things? And well, Canada, Víctor has shown that Peru might win against anyone, and that it has great players at the European level. So what do you think that could happen in the debut of Canada in Copa America in the third match? Well, the main objective right now is to focus on this next match. Claudio Bravo is in perfect condition, and Ricardo has already mentioned that we want to get to the qualifiers for the World Cup in our prime, but right now we're focused on the next match, and we want to win. We want to move on to the next round, and this is our immediate goal. We are in that quest right now.
Entrando un poco en tu pregunta, yo no sé quién habrá dicho esos comentarios o quién
I don't know
hablado así de Canadá.
Who
Por lo menos lo que
said that on Canada, and what I think, what this team thinks, or well, we have never dwelled on the moment of Canada, and we are focused on the fact that they won against Peru. They can compete against any team. We know that Canada is a great team capable of doing everything they set their mind to, that they are up to the challenge. But we have to focus on the relevance of this match to get to the knockouts. I said this before. They have great players that are playing in European leagues. So we have to pay attention to the details in this match. So we are getting ready in the best possible way to play responsibly against Canada. We are prepared. We are also a great team, and we have what it takes to play against Canada and any other opponent. Sergio, Víctor. Sergio, Canada is a team that has a great virtue, that is playing on the flanks. They are very fast. David, Johnson, Millard. How do you plan to counter the attack of the Canadians, understanding that they suffered a little bit with a backline of four, and then with the sending off of Araujo? There was a time when it was challenging. So, given those two previous references, do you think you'll face issues playing against Canada? Well, and Victor, the leadership, Claudio, Pavese, we all know that they're important players in our team. How are you taking the baton now, and maybe you, Eric, Gavisuazo, will be taking on that role of leadership? What is your impression on that? Are you feeling like a potential leader? Each match is different. Of course, in the necessary analysis we carry out, we take into consideration the match against Argentina, the match against Peru, and heat also has an impact on performance. Based on that, maybe our focus, well, our focus is on what we can do. Argentina has a particular tactical game plan, and same happened with Peru. But we analyzed how each player in Canada played in those matches, and we expect to see a very physical Canada with a tactical game plan that is on point, and we always focus on our performance. That is the most important part. That will make the difference. We played against Peru, we played against Argentina, and we analyze the opponent, we watch videos, but of course, even in the lineup, there can be differences. Davis has played as a center forward, he has played on the left, and sorry, Jonathan David. But whatever the coach in Canada proposes will make us adapt. But we do know that they're going to be strong physically with a great tactic. And then it will depend on the moment of the match. If we are taking care of a result, if we are looking to create and score, but the result will depend on what we propose. Well, that question has come up frequently. Right now, that is not of the essence. At some points, we will need leaders, and there are renovations in football, and we know that sometimes you have to take the baton of this leadership, but we have players that are leaders even when they are not captains. Nowadays, we have Claudio Bravo. He has been our captain for a long time, but there are other players that are leaders of a different nature. But I think that, as I said before, looking for new leaders isn't important right now. There are many players that can take on that role, and leaders are not only those that wear an armband. You have leaders on the pitch, outside the pitch, so it's not of concern to us who the captain will be in the future. So we have many players that are prepared for that. But right now, we are not worried about that. We want to seize this opportunity, and I think this process needs our togetherness rather than having us looking for leaders. Julio Ibáñez, TUDN Mexico. Coach, can you share the grounds for Gareca's suspension? They are not clear to me. Victor, if you move to the next round, you could play against Mexico or Venezuela. So there are chances of playing against Mexico. It is a country you know very well. So what is your impression on it? And it is a buzz going around that you could play in one of its clubs soon. As I mentioned, our federation could provide you with more detailed information. They are the ones dealing with this type of situations. It seems that it is related to the schedule or the times, but they can provide greater detail. Maybe punctuality. Regarding the potential match against Mexico or Venezuela, these are two teams that are performing well, sides that are in great shape, but we're not thinking about what ifs right now. We are focused on our match against Canada. So we're not thinking about Mexico or Venezuela right now. This third match is our priority right now, or the group phase, and that will determine if we are still on track for our next goal. And I am not thinking about that other thing you mentioned. I am fully focused on this tournament. And any potential analysis about that will come in time. My mind is fully focused on this match. Sergio, Víctor, live for Radio Futuro. Victor, you share the clear analysis on Canada and its strength. So, from a standpoint of ball possession, how can you counter the physical element of Canada and its strengths, and how can you leverage on their weaknesses? We are in a condition to compete against them, technically, tactically, and physically. What I was just mentioning about security and reality is not something I made up. Chile, this group of players, are in a condition to compete. So we talk about the physical condition as something that we cannot deal with. We will respond physically, technically. This is what we envision. And then the result will also depend on other factors, such as the opponent's presence. But I am sure that Canada sees Chile as a very important opponent in every aspect, the physical, the technical, and the tactical elements. We lost against Argentina in this group stage, and maybe that wasn't the result we expected. But as to performance, we are sure we can compete in any situation proposed by the opponent. As Bocha is mentioning, I think our answers are being put out of context. We don't think they are superior physically. We are mentioning their strengths, but we're not saying that we are not up to the challenge physically. We do measure up, and we are in every detail analyzing every match, and as Bocha is mentioning, we are prepared physically, tactically, and technically to play against Canada and any other team. So let's keep it in context. The strength of Canada is their physical condition. It is part of their game style, but that doesn't mean we are not ready to take them on. We are ready. We have been preparing to show our strengths. We also understand that Canada thinks we are in a great technical and physical condition as well, as Bocha mentioned. So it is necessary to prepare well physically and technically to be at the level of a national team. I repeat, we are at the level to compete against Canada and any other national team. Good afternoon, everyone. Sergio, are there updates on the condition of Diego Valdés? We know that he is now training with ball right now. Ricardo was said that there is a chance that he could be called for this match or for the bench. Was that decision made, and how is he? He is being considered. I correct myself. We will consider the medical report. Setting aside the eagerness of the player. It is very important to have a roster in perfect conditions, health conditions, but it's very important to take into account the opinion or the reports of the medical staff. He is recovering. You've seen that he is training. He's having differentiated training, but there are recovery times that we have to respect. It depends on the injury and on the recovery pace of the player. But right now, he is recovering. When we have to make decisions, we will take into consideration the report of the medical staff. Sergio, Víctor, good afternoon. Question to both. Sorry. Good afternoon, Víctor. Your teammates in press conferences have mentioned what happened against Peru, have commented on it, like the nervousness, the anxiousness, maybe the favoritism. Do you think it has a weight on you, on what you feel and how you get ready for a match, a must-win match like the next one? Well, in the openers, it happens. There is a certain level of anxiousness, and sometimes these things happen. Against Peru, we were anxious and playing with a certain urgency. Things didn't go as we expected. It happens in this type of tournament, in World Cups. Sometimes they talk a lot about the favorite teams and unexpected things happen. But the match against Peru is in the past. Canada is our next opponent in the upcoming match. Right now, it is the most important match in our career. To us, it is a final. It will determine what happens with our team. And I think we all agree on the fact that it is a critical match for us to know if we move on to the next round. Coach Victor, thank you very much. We apologize from the interpretation booth. We cannot hear the question without the microphone.